Hello and welcome everyone. It's so nice to see you all. Hello Dion, hello Patrick, and hello Dreamlab, my neighbor from Broward County. I love it. I really like it. It's a little bit rainy and this is very, very sticky weather here in Miami today. But it's nonetheless, I really like the fact that you're all here. I've just run into my seat here because I've just grabbed a cup of coffee. That's good, and I'm ready. Same in Broward, that's awesome. Yeah, I can imagine. Sometimes it's so weird here I don't know if you have that in Europe, but here in Miami or in sort of in the greater Miami area, it's really exciting to see that sometimes 10 meters up the road, the weather is completely different than where you are. So you could be in complete sunshine and you think, what's that gray stuff over there? And you think, well, that's a rain cloud, and that foggy stuff, that's actually rain coming down, like dramatically. And then, you just stand at the traffic light and think, oh, at least I'm nice and sunny. And then 2 seconds later, you're drenched. That's just how it happens. So always good to see you guys. We're in for another round of, what's it called? Abduction. That's it. Julia's still finishing up some work. I believe Brian might be joining us later. He's also finishing up some work in New Jersey. And there we go. Hello, aloha to you too, Julia. Very cool. It looks like Mixer is the place to be. Dion, you're on your own on YouTube right now, as I can see, and everyone else is on Mixer. So hopefully, the chat is going to work today. I'm trying something new. That I was trying to do this last Monday on the Abduction stream, and that is to overlay my chat onto the game with the window that kind of floats on top all the time. And it looks like I've got that working now. So there was something else. Oh, yeah, something else I was going to talk about. That is, I've been rendering an animation in, what's it called? Oh, thank you so much for posting that. Thank you, Patrick. Yeah, join us over here if you're on Mixer. Dion, join us on Mixer. Then the latency between what you say and what I receive, and what I say and what you receive, is going to be, a lot better. Look at that. Thank you, Julia, for hosting that stream. I guess we could put that down a little bit here, that little box maybe to about here. There we go. Perfect. Now I'm looking right at it when you do that again. It's just a Microsoft account, Dion. It's a simple Microsoft account. If you have one, then that lets you in. It'll create a username for you on Mixer, and you can change that later. So if we find somebody with a really scary username, that's probably you then when you join. But you can change that, and you have to log out and then log back in again to Mixer, and then your username should kind of, lock yourself in. Oh, you didn't use that? Gmail also works. That's good to know, Patrick. Awesome stuff. Yes, volumetric lights, Patrick. That is a very good point. I want to look into that. I want to get good results there. I've tried to add some planes on top of one another, and then add just a bit of, thank you so much, Hooch1968, for following. That's very cool. I've put some what's it called, planes, just plain primitives, and then put something like a foggy texture on it, and that means that that appears as a kind of volumetric light. And thank you, Dreamlab, for hosting my stream. That's very cool. Always good when that happens. And it worked okay, but it just doesn't look right. But from the products that I've seen in the store, they use similar types of primitives and similar texture. So I think it's just about getting the texture right there, and then, getting great results. Let's see what happens. Welcome to Mixer, Dion. Awesome. Yeah, I think I've seen you before on Mixer, haven't you? I think you've had an account from last time. So there we go. Perfection. Let's bring that low latency to good use as we explore this thing called Hunrath. That is where we got stuck last time. Hunrath is this thing in which we have been kind of teleported, and apparently, I'm not entirely sure how it works. It's the first time that I'm playing this game, so it's kind of an interesting experience for me as well, playing a game that I've never looked at for the first time, and relying on basically you guys to guide me through it. So Subnautica I've played, I kind of know what's going on in Subnautica, but this game here, Abduction, I have no idea. So that may be cool, that may be boring. It's kind of part of the test, but it's an awesome opportunity for us to just, hang out and see, just have a chat, basically. I haven't even had a look at what's it called here, Discord. I've just flown over it, and there's just so much new stuff there. I've seen you've posted a goodie there, Dreamlab. Thank you so much for that. That's very exciting. I'm going to have a look at that. Was it water droplets? It's going to be great. It's going to be very, very cool. So right now, Oh yes, also the way about Discord. Julia's put a few rules together that she wants to put out there, so we're going to do that later. There's also a welcome kind of channel that I want to write a quick introduction of what the individual channels are and what to do. So currently we're all obeying the rules that aren't written out. It's kind of a cool way of seeing it, but if more people join, they may not. So that's the reason why I want to put some rules on there, so that I can put people into the welcome channel, and then they can have a look through that, and then, you know, as we hopefully grow, we'll see what else happens. There we go. Yes, let's have a look at the game. I didn't see that exciting message. What just happened? Yeah, my mixer return froze there for a second. Oh, that's totally the wrong thing. That's the one I was going to press. Ah, sorry about that. I am still a little bit confused here. There we go. One other thing that is slightly disconcerting about the game is that we seem to have very low audio levels of the game. So currently I can't hear anything. So hopefully that's going to continue with some noise in the moment that we can see if... Oh, there we go. I can hear some hum there from this mysterious machine. Let me know if you can hear that. This is where we stopped last time. Hey Dreamlab, we're totally going to figure this out together. Don't you worry about it. Excellent. Thank you for letting me know. That's perfect. So I think last time we had a look at this machine. We had a look at exciting graphics. Rod's made an exciting little picture there where he's put the girls from TNA onto a backdrop that he's captured from the game, which is very exciting. Great idea. I think he wants to do a little tutorial of how he did that exactly, because, you know, that'd be kind of cool to do that. And I can see that currently on... Oh no, my mixer return is just freaking out here. Don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm watching YouTube and mixer at the same time. Perhaps I shouldn't be doing that. There. Now I'm no longer doing that. Yes, it was funny, wasn't it? I haven't been able to extract screenshots out of the game, though. I think I can... Is there anything I can do here? No. Photos, there we go, photos. So we can watch them, we can view them here, but there doesn't seem to be an easy export option here. But yes, as soon as I figure out how to do that, I can totally put them up somewhere on a cloud folder, and then maybe we can all have a go at that. Apparently, so I watched his latest video about it was kind of a fireside chat. That was cool. I hope he's going to join us later. It's always fun when Rod is here. And he's talked a little bit about the fact that how he does this. So he renders the shadows in Photoshop. He doesn't use them from anything else. He doesn't take them out of DAZ or out of Poser. So he does this in Photoshop. Very interesting. I wonder if there's some kind of geometric trickery going on there in which he takes a matte off that person and lies it flat and spins it around or whatnot. And we'll find out. I'd probably just go for the shadows in there. I'd probably kind of import the picture into DAZ or Poser, and then I would probably just tweak the HDRI until the shadows look okay, and then I take the picture away, and then I probably just render out the character, and then, you know, compose these two things in Photoshop. Yes, Dion, it's a puzzle game from the makers of Myst and Riven and Uru, that sort of series. Cyan, they're called. And this was actually a freebie that I got from Great Old Games a few weeks ago. They had a giveaway, and they just gave that away, basically. It's very interesting to look at that. And after I'd been given this, I was thinking, well, what game shall we play for the Monday kind of test slot that gives us more opportunity to test, you know, setups and workflows and all that, and have a chat and be together and all that. And Brian suggested, hey, you know, maybe try Obduction. And I thought, I have that. Why don't we try that? Hartnell Mining Company, and I see a lever. That's always very promising. If I see a lever in a game, I want to flick it. Shall we just flick that switch? What do you think? Is that a cool idea? Let's flick this. Oh, I gotta do this. Okay. Lever goes into yellow hose. Hose looks at a wafty red tree. We've met that tree earlier when we came down here. So we basically, what happened until now, Dion, let me put you up to speed. We came into this game from somewhere, I forgot now, I think about here. We were at a late night kind of fireside camping trip or something, at a dark lake basically. Can we walk over here? No, can't walk over here. Now, that's quite clever. This is not something we can do just yet. I guess we need to travel over here with one of those little contraptions on the tracks. So we were kind of, at a darkened lake or whatnot, and all of a sudden we saw a light. We kept walking around, and the next thing we know, it was daylight, and we were in this kind of replica of what looks like Arizona. And that's all very mysterious because we didn't really know why we were here. And we get these automated messages from somebody who appears to be the mayor, a bit like Westworld, that's right. And he told us, hey, there's lots of other people here, which we haven't met, so that's interesting. And eventually we met one bloke who was behind a door, and they've kind of keyed him in there. And he told us to switch the electricity on, which we did. That was kind of over here. Somewhere like, beyond that beam here, somewhere there, that's where that was. And we did that, and he said, great, now go away and leave me alone. I need to do some stuff. He didn't exactly tell us what. And we're just left to ourselves to explore. Walking around in this game is not that fast. This we've looked at last time. We can press that button, and then this thing happens. And I think, can we adjust this? No, we can't. Oh, can we? Maybe we can. Oh, okay. Yes. Exciting stuff. So last time, perhaps I'm going to press that button again. Crazy. So apparently when this blue laser points at something like a rock, then the rock kind of melts or disappears or does something. I wonder if we need to point that at something else. Well, Westworld, Patrick, you're in for a treat. You should watch at least the first season. I'm not entirely sure about the second season, but the first season was absolutely mind-blowing, especially because after 4 episodes you haven't quite gotten to the big puzzle of the whole show yet. Like, what has this young traveler got to do with the rest of the story, and why don't we see him together with most of the other characters? It's all going to be revealed. Yeah, hang in there. I don't seem to have much control over this thing though. I haven't watched the second one yet. I've read about it, but I bet it's one of those things, I guess you just have to go and watch it and see what you think about it. Is it finished yet, Dion? Has that finished? I'm just trying to do something to this laser. I can adjust it left and right, but I don't seem to. I'm not able to pull it top or bottom. This only goes left and right, I think. And it looks like we're running out of rock here, so I don't really know where to point that at. Maybe it's just to demonstrate the principle, and eventually we're going to be able to take this thing with us. I don't know. This is something that maybe Brian needs to help us with. We found a couple of notes here. Oh yeah, that's the other thing we found last week I say, and that was this video camera here. Apparently this is a 2D recording of something that goes into somewhat of a hologram, and we found several of these holograms with the mayor making announcements all around. I say maybe let's go downstairs again and see if we ever get out of here. It's interesting because this does remind me of Westworld as well. And maybe we can show Dion that while we're going through all this thing. Westworld and Under the Dome. That's the other thing that this reminds me of. I don't know if they are related or if one was the inspiration for the other. No, because I can I can only point this left and right light up there. We'll go revisit that later. I'm sure there's something else that we need to do. So this blue light we don't have an influence over, but the other blue light we certainly do, and that only goes left and right, but not top and bottom, or at least I don't know how to do that. So you see, Dion, the stuff, the purple stuff beyond the orange mountains, that is something that isn't here, like all this stuff here. That appears to be a different world. Or maybe it's the world that we're actually on, and we're kind of kept in this bubble type thing here. I couldn't agree more. Yes, season 3 was a little bit of a letdown, and I think it was completely different than the book. So I think the book does actually have a cohesive thing that we can follow, but the TV show after season 1 completely deviated. Yeah. This is where we were last time. We figured out how to open this path here. That I don't think we can do anything with. Fringe, oh my goodness, that was very, very good, yes. Can't believe how old these things are. Fringe, I think we started watching Fringe just about the same time as we watched Lost. Lost was also amazing. I loved Lost. Absolutely cool. Until, once again, until about, I don't know, season 4 or 5 or something, or maybe even slightly earlier. This is how we started the electricity here. So we had to do something with this crank here and then attach all this stuff to a generator over here. We made that all working. That pleased the dude that we met, who was no longer helpful to us, it appears. It's weird with television because, unlike you, Dreamlab, we haven't actually got a terrestrial TV package as such, and haven't had it for literally 20 years. And back in the 90s, I was thinking, you know, TV is just getting worse. It's just, there's just nothing that you really want to watch, and it's all governed by principles that are not actually, you know, the viewer isn't the one whose best interests are there in the foreground. So then when we discovered things like Netflix and before that even just DVD rentals of TV shows, we watched that, but you know, never any of these terrible adverts that we have there. But Lost is one of those things. It's a bit like, do you know how they established the slow narration pace ever since 24 came out? With Jack Bauer, this is the longest day of my life. That sort of thing. It's just the stories are being moved forward very slowly these days. And that Lost had that as well. So something is going on here with this thing, I think. But how we get there, that is another... It looks like maybe there's another path behind the whole generator thing. Perhaps we're going to have a look at that and see where the game unfolds in that direction. Oh, Designated Survivor I haven't seen. That is something I've not seen. Do you know this wood texture here? That just makes me think of a tutorial that Christina did on her channel very recently. I've watched that today. It's how to set these things up in Blender with something called the Node Wrangler. And I always thought that setting up materials in Blender was just a total nightmare. I mean, if we look at this wood grain, and it's wood. It's wood painted with red paint. I mean, it's so realistic. It's absolutely amazing, mind-blowing. And she was talking about how to use Node Wrangler to basically set up a material in Blender for cycles, and in so that you just select whatever the 5-6 maps that are needed for this. So you know the opacity and the displacement and literally everything, and then you just select them all, and Node Wrangler is clever enough to detect if something like albedo or diffuse is in your file name. Then it'll map that to the correct point there. It's likewise with the transparency and everything. It's very clever to then go and, hey, this needs to go into the roughness channel and this needs to go into the whatever, and it is just so super exciting. I need to try that out. I haven't ever tried that. Last time I set up a material in Blender was literally just a manual process of adding one map after the other. I have no idea. It's a one-click solution. And then, of course, it's exciting because then you combine that with something like Substance Painter or Substance Designer or Substance whatever it's called. And then you just import those materials into Blender with one click. That is very exciting. Well, maybe I'll put the Designated Survivor on my watch list then. That sounds really good. But Long Dark, also not heard of that yet. This is one of those super quiet games here as well. You just marvel at the geometry and the texture work and the whole atmosphere that these guys have put together. How are we going to reach that? What is the Long Dark? Is this a massively multiplayer role-playing game? Oh, look at that. Entrance in the cave. Let's have a look at that. Ah. That's promising. Wasn't there something like a code that we got? Oh, single player. Oh, that floats my boat. That's good to know. That is good to hear. It looks like somebody's got a kind of a living room over there. I'm not really into those MMORPGs. That's definitely close there. Yeah, those types of games are really good. I like those. I don't know if we don't have a notebook on us, do we? There's no, I think Brian mentioned that last time. We don't have an inventory as such. So I suppose if we do get a clue, then we just have to go back. I think we have found one in that little notebook we found. That's good to know. So we need something like a code, I guess, to get into there. Exciting stuff. Can we go elsewhere? Perhaps over here? Oh, that sounds like a good game. Where is that? On Steam? Or is that on GOG? Epic? Discord? We have so many game portals these days, haven't we? Unbelievable. Right. I must have a look at that. This sounds like absolutely up my alley. Last time I've stacked up on the new Tomb Raider trilogy there on Steam. I've played the first one on the PlayStation actually. Not through. I've just looked at what it could do, and then I thought, hey, this is great. So I bought the second one, but the last one. I haven't actually played the second one or the third one. So Patrick, you're in for a treat if we wanted to do that one day. That would be very, very cool. So this looks like this is the outside of that bubble here. This basically cuts right through that purple kind of stone. And we can't go through this. It's kind of the outside, the outside end of our adventure, if you will. Still, full geometry, as it looks like. It makes this, yeah, exactly like Under the Dome, isn't it? Oh, that's us. We have a shadow. Oh, good. Look at that. It looks like we kind of have two shadows here. No, that's our foot. I thought that was our head here. That's our foot. Good stuff. Oh, yeah, we had the option to play as a woman or a man. So I think we're playing as a woman right now. The very first ones, you mean the retro ones? Like the PlayStation 2 PC type era from the late 90s? Yeah, my goodness. I remember they were so big in Germany. Really, really big titles. And you always... It's kind of funny how, what kind of a... It's like a... It really started off this thing of, hey, there's a game I want to play for which I need to buy new hardware, and that really drove hardware sales, because of course the next Tomb Raider game would never work on your PC, and you had to invest into more RAM and a better graphics card, and yeah, what else is new, eh? Exactly like it is today. So I suppose that's when software companies, or hardware companies rather, really realized that there is a good symbiosis going on between making software that pushes the hardware to the boundaries, and then everyone's going to go rush out and buy new hardware. Something the TV industry hasn't quite figured out yet. I mean, they tried to give us 3D TV. Didn't work. Nobody wanted it. But that's probably also because you can't just introduce a brand new format every 2.5 years. That's just, you know... Sure, that's good for people who make hardware, but for us, we just don't care. We've only just been converted to 1080p, and now they want to push 4K on us, and you think, yeah, well, I can see it looks a bit better. And that's pretty much all there's to it. Eventually a 4K TV is going to be $200–300, and we'll all have one, but it's not something that makes us go out and buy a new TV. Whereas the new Tomb Raider game... We can always see, while we're down here, we can always see if this rude man has anything to say to us. This guy here, CW is his name. See what happens when we just knock on his door. Who are the Mofang? But I guess they'll be our enemy then in this game. Yeah, Mr. Krabby Pants, that's exactly him. Did we go up here? Maybe it's an abbreviation for something. Yeah, exactly, yeah, that could be. Well, this looks like we may be able to push something like a cart up here and then bring whatever's in the cart upstairs here. That looks like a little kind of a cart elevator or whatnot. Or maybe we can fish something out of that cart as soon as it arrives on these tracks here. Yeah, I agree with you, Patrick, in the way that it is better. I totally agree, and I appreciate the fact that it's available, but I don't think it makes as big a difference to the way we consume content as perhaps the shift from SD widescreen or the SD 4:3 to HD widescreen would have made. It's a little bit too soon, I think, and aside from gaming, only very few content sources are available. I think it's just a little bit fast the way it was introduced. The Japanese are talking 8K, of course, satellite 8K TV, I can't just buy a new television set every 2 years, just like I buy a new iPhone every once a year. Which I don't do, by the way, even though Apple wants me to. There were some notes over here. Don't disable it. Maybe one of them will have that code on there. Please change Farley's lock code to secure the vault. Her address backwards should suffice. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. I do remember the address. We did last time and I forgot. Okay, Farley was, I believe, our wife. No, actually, not our wife. We've only been here for a short while. It's the wife of Mr. Krabby Pants downstairs, CW. So let's go back to her house, read her house number, and then we're just gonna have to remember what it is. Turn that over backwards and then hack it into that mysterious little gate at the back. I think it was this way. Yeah, you see, I think that is the difference. Video games consoles, they probably can create kind of pseudo 4K content at the moment, like the PS4 Pro. It's not real 4K, I suppose that's what the PS5 and the Xbox, I don't know, 361 or whatever is going to be all about. Because I think right now they're just interpolating it so that it's almost 4K, but it's not really 4K rendered. So the resolution is 4K, but it doesn't render 4K. I think that's what it was all about. It's 4K thing. It smells a little bit to me as if it's, I'm not dissing it, you know. I like the idea that we're getting something new, but I think society just isn't quite ready yet for that. So I think this is like really early adopter territory right now. I don't think we've been here before. This is interesting. And this glowfly was just flying into this direction. That was very, very interesting. I'm just thinking, it smells to me a little bit like, hey, how can the hardware industry make a little bit more money? Oh, I know. Let's sell the suckers some higher resolution monitors so that they spend some money. I think it's coming. I think it's going to be great. But I think we're not quite ready yet. I'm just a little concerned that how fast this happened after regular HD has been introduced and became mainstream. So I fear that if we keep introducing new technology just for the sake of it, it's just a little bit, seems a bit like a rip-off game to me. But then I've grown up in the time where you buy a washing machine and it lasts 10 years, which is just not those times anymore. So these red glowing rocks here, by the way, we can point that blue laser at it, and then we can get through it. That's good to know. We just don't have a portable blue laser yet. And this was got us a little bit off track as well. I wanted to go to Farley's house, but got to somewhere totally different. Yeah, that's what it feels like to me, yeah. That curved monitor thing, I think that was an interesting idea. That was more like, there was almost like one step towards VR, or like a dual monitor setup with a single monitor, right? That's what the curved monitor kind of feels like to me. I like that. I like looking at these things at Best Buy and thinking, oh, that's nice. You want how much for it? Oh, this is one of those 3D things here. So when we press this button, then this message comes up. This is Farley.
Hi, I'm Farley. I guess if you're seeing this, then I wasn't able. Just in case. Welcome, but it's probably not safe here. To be blunt, we're getting ready for a battle. I don't know what you'll find. I just thought I should just be cautious with who you trust. CW may be here. I don't know. Just be careful. I've got to go. See you soon. And don't panic. As jarring as this experience is, you really will find Hunrath to be a decent price.
Still don't know what to make of it. So this is where we're going to have to take a clue down. So this is her house number, 1436. And we're going to have to remember that this number is going to be backwards. So 6341. I'm just going to drop that in the chat so I don't forget. 6341. Yeah, good idea. That's an even better idea. How do I do a screenshot again? Was the cursor mode unlocked? That's the one. Perfect. Got it. Very good, Patrick. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sometimes a good old-fashioned screenshot really helps there. So let's see if we can open that other gate with this code. This would have been here last time. But there was, oh, by the way, there was no way to get into this house. There's just a warning sign here. Do not approach anything that even remotely resembles this diagram unless it has been disabled. Lucky for us, we haven't actually come across one of those things yet. And also, we haven't quite looked inside her house there. What's going on there? On the table, some wires coming out. Pen and paper. That's the spirit. Yeah, it's just nothing better than pen and paper. I find with electronic gadgets, like, you know, you can get... I remember when I had my iPad new, one of those apps was Paper by 53. And I thought that was great. And let's have a pressure-sensitive stylus and all that. And it was really cool. And it almost behaved like paper. I haven't tried the new Apple Pencil yet, so I don't know if that's any better. But my point was actually that when we run out of electricity, the iPad is no longer the all-amazing magical device. It just turns into this heavy, just non-thing. If you don't have a charger and you've got your phone in your pocket, you notice how heavy it is. Before that was all like, ooh, great, look, I can touch it, I can type things and I can read things on it. And then the moment that there's no power, you think, I don't really need this anymore. Just a dead weight in my pocket. "11th hour," yeah, I remember that. 11th hour, back in the day. That was that the sequel from The Seventh Guest? That was it, right? Same makers that Seventh Guest. Oh, it shows our age. That is right, the Kindle. That was one of those absolute game changers, yeah. And also, interestingly, even though Amazon would like us to do this, I'm still using my Kindle from 2009, 2008, whenever I bought my Kindle keyboard 3rd generation. It just works a treat. I think it may have to be treated to a new battery at one point. But like you say, I mean, you charge it up, it just lasts a month. I mean, what device in this day and age lasts a month? I'm lucky if my iPhone gets through a whole day without an external battery in my pocket. When I work at Instacart, I just have a permanent battery attached to it, because otherwise, you know. Are you still using it, Dreamlab, the Kindle? And what model did you have? Okay, this could be exciting. 6341 is the fancy code that we're going to have to put in here. Do you know, by the way, we have a new channel on Discord, which is Just hacking this in. 6, 3, 4, 1. Oh, come on. 1, there we go. Aha! That was it. Green flashy light and nothing else. Oh, come on. Oh, that's the door, right. Aha! Second generation, that was the spirit. The white one or the grey one, which one did you have? Because the Kindle keyboard is pretty much the same design, I think. It's just got a faster processor or whatever. All right. Do you know, for links like this, Patrick, it's really cool. I've made a new channel on the Discord, and it'll basically save all this chat. So if you put links in it, and you know, 2 days after you say, hey man, what did you, there was a link in the last game chat and I totally forgot to look at that, it'll all be saved there. So it's on the stream chat or stream chat log or something I called it, and all our chat is basically being saved there. So that's very cool, especially for links. Very, very cool. Dark Grey, yeah, I think I have that version as well. I think in Europe we didn't quite get them when they were released. I remember I had a colleague who did graphics at MTV, and he was crazy. He still is crazy. Simon, God bless him. He's a very cool guy, very inspiring. He, back in the day, ordered his from Amazon America, and because they worked worldwide, you could just, I think it's an AT&T roaming account that is actually on the card, on the Kindle. It's very, very cool stuff. He could use it in Europe for free. And then I think only from the Kindle Keyboard 3, third generation, that was officially released in Europe, and that was kind of the first European release. Then we also had the Kindle DX. I picked that up a few years later on Amazon, and I still use it. Ooh, look at you! You've got the fast one. Yeah, mine still has buttons to flip the pages. I'm just having a casual look around here, just drinking in the atmosphere a little bit, because there's so much to explore. Like every single thing has an icon on it that we can play something here. So we'll do that in a moment. Oh yeah, and that was the little interior. Can we pick this up? Looks like we can't. Huh. What shall we do? Where shall we go first? Explore the right-hand side or the left-hand side of the room? Yeah, my mom loves that. I gave her one for her birthday a couple of years ago. And it was just, she was just absolutely mesmerized. She's got a large book collection, and now she keeps buying the old Agatha Christie books again, because she says, my God, the reading experience is just so much nicer. Not such a heavy thing, especially on larger books. It's very difficult to keep them open. It's got the backlight. I think she's got the paper white in white. I think I might just take a screenshot of this, because that may come in handy. Something connected Earth. There's the Mofang word, the Soria Mofang. So first we need a seed pair. Second, we need to find planets with similar atmospheres. Then we swap. Then the tree from the seed. Something's connected to the Mofang. And the tree and the heart. And the heart is connected to the path open when mature. Heart, superposition, and 4 pieces meet. Huh. What happens at fruition? Swap where? Home when? May be dead. That's exactly how I feel. Confused. Yes, the red wires, do they have a... There may be significant to the red wires. More seed pairs scattered throughout the universe. Why scattering? Yeah. We'll keep all this in mind. I wonder, I mean, Patrick, do your kids' drawings look like that? It is scary, right? I wonder if this is, if these are drawings, like kid drawings of some kind of alien impression, perhaps. Yeah, indeed, like scary kids' toys as well, like this guy here. Ah. Yeah. I haven't quite figured out how to move this guy around yet. Usually we can examine these things in 3D, but I guess... Oh, there we go. I can do that with the mouse. I thought I could do that with the pad. I can't actually go any further back from him. It looks a little bit, you know, zoomed in, if I may say so. The tape recorder. Yes, let's have a look at the tape recorder next. There's this thing as well. Is that what that poster warned us about, of it being disabled? Let's have a look at that tape recorder. Luckily the record button has been removed or is permanently stuck down. Shall we play this? Maybe we need to rewind it first. Ah. Rewind takes a while, that's good. It's probably a very long tape. Oh, there we go, that stopped it. Cool, let's try this again.
Well, I feel like I should say something. We haven't heard from Shavar. So, well, so we assume that Shavar, well, the attack is inevitable. We just don't know when. So, Shavar and her family, and others she trusts, I guess, well, they'll arrive when they can, without giving, you know, like covertly. So the plan will happen, in spite of our we're locking down as much as possible here and moving everybody out. CW will stay here, and I'll go to Murray at the last possible moment. Most are gone. There's just a few left here now. The mayor got out early. I don't even know why I'm recording this. It's like somehow we'll live on or something. I guess this has meaning if someone listens, but who? A new one? A new arriver. Oh, God, the kiosk out front. I need to update that message.
Very interesting. Do you know, me too, actually. I remember having a shoebox type thing. Mine didn't actually have buttons at the front. It had one of those kind of elongated levers that you push up to play and pull back to stop. Those were the days. interestingly stopped working when I tried to open it up and see what's inside. Can we take the cassette out? Oh yeah, there we go. That's a good idea. Let's listen to the second side. Nice.
We all lost everything. Everything but our stories. And they shouldn't be forgotten. I was 3. It was April of 1983. Cecil, it was 1870 for you. Sam and Vera, you tell it like it was yesterday, but it's been 62 years since you saw that blast of light. And that's where all of our news stories began, that light. It streaked across the sky, mesmerizing, but unnerving. Some of you were alone. I wasn't. My dear grandma, God bless her, rejoiced as if it was some forebearer of good fortune. Vera, you said you recall smiling. None of us understood. But, well, we followed. Whether it was in the deep woods like Cecil or right outside town like Jane and Jenny, we were drawn to see more. Grandma lifted me from the carriage on the porch and walked into the yard so we could watch it unobstructed. Even in daylight, Joseph, you said it was gloriously bright. But in the twilight, it was spellbinding. And we all felt some kind of trepidation and yet attraction as we approached it, and it approached us. So close, so radiant, and that sound, deep and vibrant, organic. You all remember, there was no turning away. It advanced, almost like purposefully spinning slowly until, well, it found us, each of us. We should tell these stories because it saved us, and there must be more.
It was in the middle of the afternoon.
I was watching the sunrise.
It was about 2:30 in the morning. December 26, 1948.
May 7th, 2009. September 3rd, 1995.
I was down by the river.
I was hiking in the desert. In the park with my grandson.
I looked up and saw
A brilliant flash of light
exploded in the sky.
The light just, it flew into the clouds and behind some trees and
it disappeared. I looked around and, to see.
see if there was anyone around.
See if anyone else had seen what I had seen.
There was no one around.
They all saw it too. Bob definitely saw it. Well, it was just beautiful. There was something calming about it.
Yeah, I don't mind telling you, I was kind of freaking out. I tried to follow it, trying to get a better look at it.
Wanted to see it again.
I came to a place where it had disappeared.
I looked, but I found nothing. And it streaked through the sky again.
It seemed like it was looking for something.
Or looking for someone. And then it found me. And it found me.
Found me.
It found me.
Found me.
Found me. Found me.
And it found me.
It looks like I haven't missed that much. It looks like none of these people are here still. Oh, so I thought this thing next to the tape recorder would be something we could pick up here, this whatever that is, but I guess, you know, we can't, so then that just goes to the tape recorder. I do remember Walkmans. Walkmen, rather. My mom used to call them workmen, I remember that. Oh, look at that. I had one of those that didn't actually have a rewind function, that just had a stick to hold the cassette in place on the left, and then the right was the take-up spool. Please give us a bit of information about you so we can get to know you a little better. Name, date you came from. Please give us a 4-digit year. Where you came from, country and city. Circumstance under which you were taken. Please note any dangers you noticed. Emptied and filed. So, whatever's happened to us must have happened many times before to other people. And I guess if they're asking... Oh my God, so they're asking you where you came from, but also what time you came from. So what is going on here? Samuel Karen came from January 2017 from Madagascar. And then Uziel Regenbogen came from 1942 from Lübeck, Germany. Maria came from 1988 from Mexico. And this guy whose name I can't pronounce came from March 2042 from Portland, Oregon. That is creepy. That is really crazy. So it's not just we've been abducted, we've also been abducted through time. Oh my God, this is creepy. What a creepy game. That is scary. Oh, what else are we going to find out? Oh, there was this thing here. And I guess this projector will tell us a little bit more about, perhaps it's going to be an overlay. And we're going to switch that on in a minute. Let's see if we can find our bearings here. So I guess this is where we are, isn't it? So, oh, I wonder if that cursor lock function, there we go. Is that what? Yeah, there we go. Perfect. So cursor lock function, I like it. So entry canyon, I think we would have come from here, through here. Then we go to Farley's house. That makes sense. We didn't actually see a cemetery. I must say we've overlooked that. But if this is Farley's house, that may be Farley's house. Town, well, I mean, I guess what was left of it. CWs. Oh, this was a shop, I see. We have come across this. We know the falls. I think we've been up here to dislodge something that made the falls actually flow into this river. And we turned a propeller or whatnot to go over here. Then we went over here. This is the rail yard, I remember that. And this is the fuel depot. So we haven't been to this... Have we been to the scrapyard? Don't think we have. Supplies, fuel. We've definitely been here. And I guess now... Well, I wonder, is this actually... Are we in Farley's house right now? I thought Farley's house... This was Farley's house when we get into this thing here. We must be... Where are we now then? We must be up here somewhere. Or maybe we're in this kind of dotted area. That's right, yes, this must be the red tree, exactly. I think that's a great idea, let's do that. Just in case we lose our bearings. Why don't we have a look what the projector tells us. I wonder if it does some kind of an overlay. Let's do that. Ah, that's us then, I guess. Very cool. Now, what's the significance about that spot? You mean the projector? Oh yes, actually I can, can't I? Aha. Yeah, maybe it's not a significant point on the map. Maybe it's a significant point on, I don't know, somewhere else, on the wall or whatnot. Look at that. So you've played this, Dion, have you? Nice one. We can only do left and right here. So also, I'm playing this with the gamepad. I don't know if that's good or not. Oh, I see, I see. I wonder what the significance of it turning is then. So this circle seems to be like a cutout that fits just over this map here. The school board. Oh, this is a school board. I didn't even know that was a school board. Yeah. All right. Oh dear, that looks more like a swastika type symbol, doesn't it? Well, let's have a look what... Huh. Is that something we can pick up here now? More notes we could read here. Oh, I can barely make this out, but I think it says, I shall document the curious events that have transpired with myself, my family, friends, and co-workers. Hartnell was a peaceful mining town founded by my grandfather and nestled within the red rock of the desert in the Arizona Territory. Its 163 inhabitants heard a mighty explosion on the night of June 27th, 1903. Wow. I sent several workers through the town to verify that the explosion had not caused any injuries or damage to mining equipment. They returned and reported that it must have been a loud clap of thunder caused by dry lightning, for they found no damage. It was not until the light of the next morning that we were amazed to realize something profound had indeed occurred. At some point during that night, our entire mining facility and a large circle of the land around it seemed to have been scooped up and carried off to a completely different place, all without anyone knowing anything about it. Yeah, much like us right now. Oh, really? That's awesome, Dreamlab. You got paid for that? That's so cool. Yeah, some jobs are just like that, aren't they? Oh, very good. The entire landscape outside of our circle of desert could only be described as alien. Large floating rocks could be seen in the distance. No one had ever seen anything like it. Anywhere on Earth, we fully explored our new surroundings, hoping to find a way home. No way home was ever found. In fact, we soon discovered that we take for granted now, not only could we get not back home, we also could not access the landscape outside the desert. Curiously, we discovered that a flow of water was provided from a high point of rock, and we discovered a small tree growing in the very center of the circle. Our central tree that is so important to our lives here was just a mere sapling back then. All right, web hosting tech support. Look at that. Which company were you working for? If you're allowed to say that, don't feel obliged to say it if you can't say it. Species description. Yeah, never heard of Vireo. I can imagine that's one of those jobs that it would have been nice to do that from home, right? Rather than to go somewhere into an office. So this is describing the Mofang. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? Through ambassador seeds, the Mofang were the first non-human species humans were introduced to. Anne Liang was the first to call the alien a Mofang, impressed with her advanced ability to imitate our sounds, movements, and mannerisms. Although they have a name for themselves, their language is mostly unpronounceable by humans. As a result, and because of their mimicry abilities, communication with the Mofang is primarily accomplished by their learning human languages rather than humans learning to speak Mofang. They have been able to learn almost every human language represented in Hunrath, enough to provide functional, if rudimentary, communication. The Mofang basic external morphology is remarkably humanoid, bilateral symmetrical tetrapods, bipedal, head with anterior facial features, mouth, eyes, nostrils. Other external features include minimal body hair and raised dorsal protrusions. Constitution is somewhat frail due to apparently to their thin and lightweight internal structure, but internal investigation has not been possible. They have ample cranial space to account for a substantial brain, and their intelligence is impressive, as evidenced by their advanced technology. Oh, that's them. It's almost like what we... That's Grays, exactly. It's like the little bits and bobs that we found in the children's drawings, I guess, right? Oh, very interesting. Indigo Man, thank you so much for subscribing, if I've pronounced your name correctly. Very nice of you, thank you. That's what the Mofang look like. And welcome, indeed, welcome to the stream. Well, this is interesting. So the Mofang may not be the only alien species that we've come across. There's also the Arai. In a different handwriting, after a certain level of maturity and health of the tree, a passage opened at its base. That's creepy. The passage allowed contact with two additional species. The first contact was with the Arai. The first contact revealed the Arai to be large, beetle-like insects. We were unable to communicate directly with them in any way, but they appeared to have some rudimentary level of intelligence. It was Lonik Toth who first made the journey through the heart to Kaptar and named both the New World and the inhabitants. Look at that! The Arai have three distinct variants that may have come to be referred to as barnacle, beetle, and polyarch. Although their morphology is dramatically different from human, their internal systems, like all of our neighbors, are supported by similar atmospheric composition and basic nutrients. In their barnacle stage, the Arai are completely immobile. The Arai stay in this egg-like development state seemingly indefinitely. In order to hatch, they must be in proximity of a polyarch and fertilized by the beetles after a certain stage of maturity. Look at that! The amount of thought that's gone into writing all this. This is amazing. The beetles are the eyes and ears, hands and feet, with only a minimal nervous system of their own. They are essentially the sensory extensions of the immobile polyarchs. They are able to execute simple commands, but apparently have little in the way of individual sentience. That is absolutely right. So I'm glad they were still successful with it, because this is not the instant gratification game. You really have to invest a lot of time just reading through all this and understanding what's going on to fully appreciate this game. The Uri polyarchs are the intelligence and consciousness of the species. Although it was obvious that there was intelligence behind the species, it wasn't until Katherine Farley became spending large amounts of time in close proximity that deeper communication began. With the room nearby, Farley was the first to communicate non-verbally and learn much about the species, including some historical information. The Uri species survived in their world while several other sentient species came and went. Imagine that. Among them, an ancient species who formed a deeper relationship with the Uri, carving temples and dwellings for them in the rocks. And later, a more recent species that took over much of their homeworld. This latter species was especially adept at mechanical construction, using it mostly to capture and process large flying creatures, using the beetles as bait. Oh, that's terrible. Look at that. My goodness. Is this okay if I read this out? I mean, this is, you know, if it's boring, do let me know. It's kind of, I need to read this anyway. I thought I might as well read it out to everyone. So sometimes it's not that easy to read on the screen. Great, let's keep going. You all have coffee, right? I hope. Or a drink. Absolutely, it's like bedtime stories, exactly. Of the chilling kind. So the Verlaine, I guess the Verlaine must be then the, what, the third species? And not just wrote that, I mean, it takes quite a bit of time to actually go and put all this on paper and put it into Photoshop and whatever and mimic this handwriting type thing. Absolutely. Apparently they introduced this game in 2013, by the way, so it's been that long. And that was a Kickstarter campaign. Very cool, and it's only been released in 2018, so 5 years of hard work. The final species to be discovered were the Verlaine. The Verlaine had been communicating with the Uri for many years through ambassador seeds, but became part of the larger community very shortly after the Uri. So I guess then this tree and its seeds are kind of key to bridging the gap between one world and another. How interesting. With a large and imposing frame and a form of communication based on complex multi-voiced low-frequency rumble, the initial introductions were intimidating. After several attempts, Amelie Vidal was able to begin some rudimentary communication and began visiting the Verlaine in Murray, which she named, on a regular basis. She discovered a complex and amazing society that was able to use their technology in unexpected ways. They had the ability to quickly transform their world using extruded structures based on some form of complex miniature substrate material. I say, oh boy. Unlike the other worlds, the Verlaine sphere, I wonder if this is the Earth sphere that we're basically in. How interesting. The Verlaine sphere is scooped out of a Verlaine resettlement group that was preparing to set off into space to find a new homeworld. This was their way of life, to put themselves into stasis and scatter themselves through the stars. How exciting. As mentioned previously, their appearance is imposing, standing about 9 feet tall with a distinct reptilian resemblance. They have 6 limbs, 2 muscular legs and arms, and a smaller set of arms. They control every aspect of their technology with their vocalizations, but over the years they have created control panels based on their number system that allow other species to easier access elements of their technology. No way! Julia, no, she's just finishing work. I think she may make herself a tea. And yes, so then she's going to probably join us in the chat in a moment. It was Riven, you probably mean, Dion. There was Mist, and then there was Riven, which was a sequel. And they made a couple of other games. They're all available on GOG in a compilation right now. It's the great old games, GOG.com. And it's called the Mist Collection, I believe. There's about several of them. Woohoo! Yes, exactly. That's I'm eager to play those because I remember I skipped over Myst. I don't think I've played Myst back in the day. My computer was just not capable enough. My goodness, so we're in a sphere. These guys came from a sphere. And that is maybe what all this is all about. These may be the spheres. So the yellow thing could be the Earth sphere. And then we have these three others, the blue, the red, and the green. So if the red is for the Mofang, I'm just reading that about the chicken dinner raffle. I have no idea what that's about. But maybe we should put raffle to enter. Oh, that's just on YouTube? I'm so confused. I don't know what that is. Streamlabs is the company that I'm using to put all these walking zombies over the stream, but I have no idea how the chicken dinner raffle got in there. But maybe we should try entering. What do you think? Are you still on YouTube there, Dion? I'll see if I can enter. Yeah, and now the chat is confusing, right? Woohoo! That's crazy stuff. So if I just go and enter raffle on YouTube, see what happens. I don't know how the chicken dinner would get delivered. Is it going to be via Instacart? I wonder. I received one ticket. Awesome. So I have zero idea how that got in there. I might have to research that a little later. Ah, very cool. So anyway, while I was walking in here, I thought there's something fishy with this carpet. Maybe we can pull the carpet away. There's something underneath it, like a trap door or whatnot. What do you think? I also have no idea when the draw is going to be, or what's going to be in the chicken dinner. Surprises. It is a free service. It's just like them to sneak something into my chat without our consent. It's a bit like the friendly people from Restream. So yes, Earth sphere, Mofang sphere. Very interesting. And this tree appears to be the key to that. So what do you think we should do next? I mean, I'm not entirely sure about this, what this means here. If this is mainly just the number, if we're supposed to put that projector on top of that. Dion, from your research, can you remember what that person was doing when they were playing? Because I'm thinking this has just kind of given us the key on the map here. See if I can position myself so I can see both of these things together. Because this fits so perfectly, like you were saying, Patrick. It's just put that here. Oops. And then more layers on the school board. I'm tempted to turn the school board round. I was only able to pull this thing up or down. But I can't seem to do anything with the school board. It rolls up, yeah, it's kind of this thing that covers this. But maybe there's something... Is there nothing we can do to this? It almost looks like a half-finished painting. Yeah, I just did that, but it didn't really do anything when I project onto that. I mean, where am I projecting to? Oh, when it's up. Oh, yes, 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 I can do that. Like this. Oh. It's a very tactile game, yes. You have to, can't just press it, you have to do something else with it. Oh, maybe. Can we pull this half down? No. Oh, maybe I can. Something like this. Oh, when it's up, turn. Okay, cool. So do that. Yeah, it looks like I can't. And then turn the projector, you mean? On the board, yes, yes. But I don't see anything happening there. Oh, you mean turn the board? Yeah, no, I can't do that, Patrick. I've tried that as well. There's no, it doesn't let me do that. The cursor would just usually go white. Like if I point that to something, it goes white in the middle. I haven't found a way to turn the flipboard. That'd be cool if I could do that. Yeah, that still remains a little bit of a mystery. And one thing I do notice is that a lever, this one here. Is that a lever? No. Damn. Not a lever. Tricky one, isn't it? Very interesting. This one was the seed information. All right, okay, bring it on. Whoops, I didn't mean to close that. I meant to have a look at the seed information. Weird, isn't it? It's sometimes it's one of those things. Maybe we'll read that next time. What the ambassador seeds and the collector seeds do. The mother seeds. Yeah, we're going to read that next time. Sounds like a good beginning to the next installment of the abduction feed. I'm quite intrigued by this position here, by that projector. Is there something in this cupboard here? Yeah. Do you know, I felt like that with Subnautica as well. I was thinking, what is the point of all this? I have no idea what's going to happen next. It's such a deep story, and you really have to kind of go through this what are we going to do next type thing, which is why I appreciate it so much that you guys are here, because we can figure this out together. Nothing's easier than to just go and look at a walkthrough, but hey, that's part of the fun of this game, to go and say, well, what are we supposed to do here? What's in this box? Oh, can we open that? No. Dang. The projector, he goes around all the... Oh, interesting. All the way over here. All right. It's a little difficult to put both of these things in vision, I must say. And maybe this is where the lock cursor feature comes in. Let me try that. Can I do that? Yeah. No, because the cursor's... Oh, yes, I can. Ah, man. It's not exactly doing what I want it to do. Ooh, Mario, thank you so much for your subscription. I appreciate that. We're banging our head against the wall of what to do in this room in Abduction. Very interesting. And wouldn't that be cool? Yeah. Do you know, but it's another one of those mixer things. There are certain games, and I'd love to try one of those out. There are certain games that integrate with Mixer. So Mixer has an API. I think they call it, oh, what was it again? I read about it and I totally forgot about it now. And it's an API that lets the viewers make decisions that influence the game. Very interesting idea that is. So you could be, I don't know, walking around someplace and you guys could put obstacles in the way. Or we could make decisions together. This kind of comes up as additional buttons underneath the viewer. And then, you know, it's a very new level of interactivity. Only supports certain games, so it's yeah, it's limited to only very few games. Yeah, Julia, this is how we found the map. So we found it basically pointing at this spot, and then we switched the projector on, and that worked. And maybe it could well be that turning the projector is a complete red herring. That is very, very possible. On that spot, I'm totally going to go and take a screenshot of that with the spot on, because we've got one without it, and now we're going to take one with it. We've tried that out as well. Here, I can totally show you that. No, don't worry about it. We can, maybe we've overlooked something. So we can turn the projector onto this board, and this comes down. We can't turn the board around. That's what I thought as well. But we can turn this down, and then that happens. And then we thought, hey, maybe we can go and turn the projector so that it goes onto... She does, and she's only just joined in here. Unbelievable. But then we can turn that on here, but that doesn't seem to give us anything. I'm thinking perhaps we should see if we can go to that spot that it's illuminated there. So that was, if I go, I can just look at the screenshot now, can't I? So this was it. It's basically just above the rail yard. I have, yes. So we have the projectors on there now. This is the projector on the rolly thing. So we can now go and turn that away again. But it doesn't really tell us. It's just that it's such a perfect match when the projector is literally on the map of our sphere here. Welcome, Rod. How you doing? Always nice to have you in the chat. We're banging our head against the wall in abduction. We found this exciting room here, which we've opened. Let me bring you all up to scratch. Actually, we've been investigating a little bit here, and we went past the railroad. You may recognize this from last time. We used this little railroad thing here to fill up that generator, switched on the generator, it's all groovy, the guy was happy, and we went through this abandoned train station, came out at the end, at the back, and found a locked gate in this little tunnel over here, which has electricity, as we can see by the overhead cable, so that's very exciting. It had a number pad that we had to hack in a number, and I remember that there was a note somewhere that said, hey, Farley's house number backwards will work, and that's exactly what we did, and that gave us into this living room type thing. Triggers nice music. And it is only now that I realize we have a door here. Perhaps we should open that and see what happens in the back garden. Duh! There we go! Oh, this is Farley's house. That's interesting. Farley's house number, because it is Farley's house. Ah, man. That's exciting, isn't it? And now it makes sense why the map makes so much sense now, because I was thinking, is this spot there in which we found Farley's map, Farley's house, is that actually, are we there at that moment? I've taken a screenshot of that, so let's have a look where that was. This was it. That was much more illuminated last time I checked. Wasn't it? Was it this? Yeah, that could be it. I don't know. That wasn't it. Let's go back to the map. More interactivity going on there. Farley's house. This is what Farley's house is all about. There should be something about the projector, unless it is a red herring. Maybe we're just supposed to switch it on and it would give us that little thing here, because this is, we found all these things, so we've looked at that earlier, and this is Farley's house. We went past the railroad, the rail yard here, went up a little tunnel thing, and then went into something like this, so it could well be that we are at Farley's house, now we know. It was just a very long-winded trip, wasn't it, Rod? Unbelievable. I watched your behind-the-scenes fire lockside thing earlier. That was very, very funny. I think you should do that at least once a week. Have a little fireside chat with Rod. That was very good. I enjoyed that. It's just, sometimes it's just nice, these totally off-the-cuff chats about what's happening in your life. That's what I would imagine. So that is, let's just bring that projector back there one more time. So we don't really know how far up that is, but it's somewhere where that tree is. Yes, we were saying earlier, we would love to see the tutorials of how you put the girls into a screenshot of this game. I've not been able to extract them from here. There doesn't seem to be an option to just copy them out like there is on Subnautica. But maybe they're saved in some kind of folder. If I find out where that is, I'll post that on my website. Well, I say, let's go back to where the tree is. And then we can see, because it should be kind of, we should get our bearings from that. I'll take a screenshot of this so that we can have a look at that. Julia wants to stay. Well, tell me. What do you mean, this thing here? Turn left, turn left. This? That just holds this in place because it's technically carved out of a piece of, I don't know, it's falling down the ceiling here. We also haven't quite found a way to go upstairs. I mean, from the outside, this looks like a two-story building. But I don't see stairs going up somehow. Not just yet, anyway. Maybe the stairs are behind here. We've tried moving the carpet as well. There was some carpet here. We found a tape recorder with entries of people who were saying how they've been abducted here. We have done that too. We've looked at the front, at the back, or we've listened to both sides of the tape. We've even had to rewind it. Yes, we've done all that. And it looks like we've almost been exhausting what's happening here. What we've found out so far is, and this is kind of an interesting recap here, so we've indeed been abducted, so that explains why when we look outside, I don't know if we could see it here, there's these purple things, we're definitely on a sphere. And there's other spheres here. So the yellow thing appears to be the Earth sphere. So that's, you know, Earth sphere. That's this thing. And on the Earth sphere, there's a tree somewhere. And that tree drops saplings every so often. And that, apparently, those saplings are then used to travel and communicate between other spheres, which are from other dimensions. So the red thing is the Molfang sphere. That's a species. And we've also found two other spheres, names of which I've already forgotten, but they're green and red spheres here. That's what they were living in. And we've now all been able to somehow communicate, or the humans have been able to communicate with all these species. But that's all we know. Oh yes, and like Dreamlab said, people from both the 1940s and 2047, 42 have been transported from their worlds into ours. Kind of all together here, which is creepy. Let me go out on the front door here and see if I can go back to where that tree is. That's right, and the 1800s, that's true. Yes, maybe there's a significance in that, Dreamlab, absolutely. Yeah, can't go further here. Where was the tree again? Oh yes, through here. Yes, there he is, the big red tree. Oh yes, and this is another significant thing here. These are red glowing boulders, and I guess once we get something to do with that blue laser, that we can get that out and mobile, we can then go and blast those things away. There's our tree up here. Hartnell Mining Company. Ah. We were up as far as up here. Ah. Maybe this little video will tell us what's going down about that. About that tree.
This is the tree. It has been here in Hunrath for as long as anyone can remember.
Yes.
Its health is intimately tied to everything in our little greenhouse. Our cell we live in, our ecosystem. It has provided many surprises over the years, including some interesting seeds that you will learn more about. Many have postulated, yet we really know very little about its origins. But we do know it should be cherished and protected.
Welcome, Christina. Glad to see you. We've learned so much about abduction, yet there are still so many mysteries. Ah, maybe this is going to get us closer to the tree. We believe that the saplings of the tree are used to communicate with other dimensions, which also exist as bubbles and are kind of isolated from their world in a way. Yeah. We've managed to go into Farley's house and the back entrance. So we've uncovered a bit of the backstory here. Ah. And we found a map of the town with a projector that kind of pointed us into this direction. At least that's what we kind of think about it. So we have a feeling we need to do something with this tree. And it looks like we're all confused. That's the thing. We're all confused. Even those who've been here. We're all so confused. So it looks like if I look through this grating downstairs there appears to be some kind of a lever and a crank thing. And if I were to go down there, I could probably open this gate. And that could potentially get us closer to whatever the significance of this tree is all about. Oh, we've also now seeing this, do you see this yellow cable here? That appears to be a water line. And that we've switched on. So that's cool. We've given the tree some water. We believe that that's what we've done. So then how do we get down here? I wonder if that's one of those, if we need to blast one of those red rocks away. So that should be somewhere down here. Should be some kind of an entrance. Ah. Interesting. And maybe it was on the other side. We did see some red boulders there. Or maybe the entrance would have been through this house. That's possible. Which the stairs we've just passed? Yes, I've just these ones here. No, there we go. We can. Oh, that just gets us here. Yeah, we've listened to that, and then so I'm looking for an entrance that's underneath this platform, technically. And that, yes, could probably be here. I would imagine it's here. That could be it. If we get that out of the way, then turn left, I guess that may just get us there. Yes, I saw that 6 a.m. message, Patrick. Yes, I remember seeing something on my phone pop up there. Now that, of course, brings on the next question: where do we get a card from? That is a very good idea. And this is not the kind of card we're talking about, right? We mean something much more significant, much more large. We've examined this last time, but we didn't really see anything in here. Patrick, this is what you mean, right? You're just to answer your earlier question from 2 hours ago. These types of lights, you want to build those in Das Studio, right? Because me too. The Hulk or the Troll? The Troll looks like he's powerful too. Yeah, we're gonna get there. There's a shovel, there's a light, but we can't really do anything with these things. Shame Brian isn't here. Brian played this game before. He was one of the original backers, Kickstarter backers for this game, so I believe he gets a credit as well, which is great. That was another welcome message from the mayor. Downtown Hunrath. Do we want to listen to that again? Maybe it makes it appear in a different light when we listen to that again. Oh, maybe we can't play it again. No, this was a one-time affair. No, we can't walk through these rocks, but what we can do, and maybe this is something we can't figure out together, there's a blue laser here up there, and that blue laser, if directed at those rocks, makes them basically melt. Makes you know, does this to the rocks basically. And this was how we get there. So here's one laser. Oh my god, and this is the freaking card, isn't it? Oh my goodness. That is just so cool. That is just so cool. That is the card with the blue laser attached. So this thing needs to be lowered down so it ends up on the tracks, and then we can just go and play with all those levers. How exciting! That is just so cool. So now all we need to do is find a way to release this thing downstairs. Very, very cool. That is seriously cool. Thank you so much for your subscription, Eggy. That is very nice. My mixer return has such a delay today that I have not seen this notification before. So thank you so much. Let's see if we can get rid of this thing somehow. Pull it down. I wonder if we can walk up there. Is there anything we can do with these things? I mean, one thing I find interesting is that there's no inventory in this game. So it's not like pick up the knife from the other level or the screwdriver and then take it to this thing. It's just not like that here. It's always like that, isn't it? You fix one thing and then you must immediately find something else so that that information you've just found makes any use. Maybe from the other side. Could it be as simple as pressing a button. I thought we pressed that button. This is sometimes what happens in adventure games. There's a little light that shines onto the area that you need to pay closer attention to. Oh my goodness, can you see what's happening? Whoa! That is seriously cool. Let's quickly go downstairs and see if we can drive this thing. This thing's also on tracks. Looks like we have, I mean, you know, just when you thought we fixed one thing, this thing is also on tracks. So I wonder if these are building materials or something to ram things with. Let's just keep that in mind as we explore our new toy on the tracks. Ah, that was not such a good idea. Let's just leave that open, shall we? Good thing that blue laser thing isn't harming us in any way. Even though it does look scary. Enter! Oh, wow! Let's do that. Okay. So it looks like that this field in the middle lets me point the laser and gives me kind of a zoomed in view of where I'm pointing the laser. But now that I can do that, there's no way for me to move the cart. So I can sit in it and direct the laser, but I can't actually move the cart. Maybe I need to go and press another lever. Ah, right, okay, so I can only move the cart or point the laser. Oh my god, this is great. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the bumper car track. Oh my goodness. Now all those levers make perfect sense. Oh, maybe we need to take a screenshot there for you, Rod, and then see if we can put the girls into the cart somehow. Let's just see where it takes us. To the Red Rocks, Alice. Ah, there's some sample rocks that we could potentially move out of the way. Ah, no, they don't glow red. I can still see what happens if I flick that magic lever. Shall we do that? I think I can't aim this thing. Maybe it's too tight here. Oh, there, I can just press the button. That will switch over from... Yeah, I think so too, Patrick. Let's do that. Oh, flick that switch. It's got all the controls here. Look at that. I feel like the guy driving the tram. It's very cool. And what materials have they built this out of? This looks like almost like skin. I certainly don't have a way to turn around. Oops, that was a screenshot. I didn't mean to do that. How do I exit? Oh, there we go, exit. Nice, with the sliding door and everything. Look at that. That is so cool. So I guess this would allow me to go onto this track here. And that would maybe get me into where I can't do anything. No red rocks here. But here. So if we focus kind of on going into this thing, I just need to make sure the thing faces the right way. It's just one puzzle after the other. That is just so cool. So I say, so here's my plan. see if you agree with me there. I'm going to go and take this puppy over to here. Then I'm going to get out of the car, flick that lever, so that lets me then go onto this track, at which point we go and see where this track gets us. And if we have to, we move into here, flick that switch so we can maybe change directions somehow, and then we can try and make it into here and see if we can blow up those rocks over here. Sounds like a plan. Let's try this out. First step, get in the car. That is a very good plan. Yes, Streamlab. Let's try that. Wow. Just move past this thing here. Excellent. And get out. I love this swingy little chair here. I also like that I can't actually see myself sitting on the chair. I do project a shadow. Oh yes, you were saying, Christina, it's such a shame, isn't it? When are your kids back so that they can go and fix your computer? Because, you know, no DAS, no way to play this game. Blender works, right? Blender and Photoshop, they work for you. And now we go back, hopefully going into the other direction. Awesome stuff. Can I look back? Oh yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Where are we going now? Are we going this way? Okay. Don't know. Do we need to do that? We were going to go the other way. I'm just going to go flick that lever as well. Oh, you can DAS again. That's good. So DAS no longer crashes. That is a good start. Okay, good stuff. That is soon. Flick this switch, right? Yes. Yeah. Patrick. The driver issue, do you know what? I haven't even read that whole thread yet. It was a long thread. I'm still so excited that there is actually something other than the Game Ready driver. Hang on a minute, I thought I was going to go the other way. Oh no, actually I wanted to go this way, didn't I? And this is getting us the wrong way, but maybe the right way. All we need to do is we need to go and turn the cart around. Oh, I can't get out of here. That's a shame. Maybe here. Can't get out of here? I can't get out. They won't let me out. Yeah, I can only zap the rocks. Oh no, of course I can zap. I can just go and turn the whole this thing around, can't I? Yes, can I? Yeah, but it only has such a range, so I can't. I have to literally shoot. I have to turn the cart around so that this thing kind of shoots towards the front somehow. That's great news, Patrick. That's great news. You couldn't use the denoiser before? That's terrible. No, I'm glad you can now. I didn't know you had those issues with that. I need to catch up on the Discord. I haven't had much time this week or last. But rest assured, I will catch up. How do we do a 3-point turn, Dreamlab? How do we do a 3-point turn? I guess that's the only thing we can do, isn't it? Which one? This one here? No, I think that just stops here. I've seen something that may allow us to do that. Excuse me while I check it out. Do you remember the train depot? I don't know if there are tracks leading all the way to the train depot, but I remember there was... Look, this is an intersection thing here. There was something that would literally just turn a train around. I wonder if we can use that to our advantage. I also don't know if all the tracks go towards that part of the game. Don't think they may. No, because that's past this, so no. Huh. The circle, that's right, yes. At the end of that station, that's exactly right. But I don't think we can bring our cart all that way. There's got to be a way to do this. I'm searching for something that will get us in and then out. Well, how about this? Would this get us in and through, perhaps? This looks like mysteriously... Where's our cart? Let's see if we can fire something. I'm in the mood for firing something. I like Dreamlab's suggestion. Just try every lever direction and see if you can smash something. This we've tried out already, haven't we? Yeah, we have. And it does not let us... Or does it? Yeah, it doesn't seem to do anything. I don't have to fire this thing, it kind of fires itself all the time. I could try that. Whoops. I'm so glad this lever has a flashy light on it, because if it's dark and this thing isn't flashing, I wouldn't be able to change from firing mode into driving mode. There's these two modes. It's a little bit awkward to drive this thing, I have to say. So you're saying just fire at the lever, maybe that'll change the direction. Let's try it. Alright. Lever, there's the lever. And now we'll go and... I think not, Patrick. Good idea though, good idea. Well, you gotta try these things, you know, in all these adventure games you just have to try these things and see what happens. So what happens then if we flick this lever here now and then go over this? Would that let us in and then out the other way? Yeah, developers don't want you to have a car that basically does everything for you. So let's try this. I'm going in here, ka-clonk, and then I'm going back, hopefully, the other way. Yes, indeed. Oops. And now I'm looking the other way. This should get us a 3-point turn going here, shouldn't it? Well, let's see, shall we? Let's try and employ the same trick here. If we go and do that. We go back over this thing. Now Now we go into here, into the other way. That's right. So, yes, so with a bit of luck, are we now facing the right way? We go into here and then into here. No, we're still not facing the right way, are we? No, I think we may do. I think we do, don't we? So then we go into here and we get out again. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, cool. We get out again. We flick that lever once more. It's the lever flicking show. Do you think? Totally not giving up. Totally trying. So let me go this way. Oh yeah, it's still the same way, isn't it? Man. Okay, that didn't work. What are we missing here? We're missing something, aren't we? Oh yeah, I can't get out here. It's not allowed out here. We need this thing that physically turns us around. I thought it's going to be enough if we go into a T-junction and then come out the other way. Doesn't that turn us the other way? But I guess not. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Okay, well let's try just going a little bit further away with this thing. Maybe by chance we're going to happen across... Oh, this way. We happen across the magical change direction thing. So I'm going to go further into this direction, see what happens there. This is exciting. We can explore this thing in a car. If I'm allowed out here, which I'm not. Damn. That's a shame. Oh, good. That's where I wanted to go anyway. The intersection, that could be magical. If we find a way onto the other part of the intersection, maybe. I don't know, I'm just guessing here. Do you know what there was when we went? That is true. We're trying it out. We need to find a way to point the gun the other way. I wonder, do you remember when we were up at the tree? Ah, are we going around in a circle now? No, we don't. Damn. Do you remember when we went up by that tree? There were tracks that were getting us over a distance there, over a direction, over a stretch that we couldn't walk over because it had tracks, but we couldn't walk over that. That's another way we could just, instead of trying to blast rocks, we could try and go there with the car and see if we can go towards the tree and touch the tree perhaps. There's Farley's house over there. I would never do that. Right. At least we're getting a nice ride through Hunrath. Yeah, I think so too. That's another clever idea, so that we don't have to maybe get that close up to the rocks, because this laser is kind of has a range, doesn't it? Julius just made a suggestion that we can perhaps smash the rocks from a distance, as long as we point the laser in the right direction. I suppose because the rocks are inside that little they're kind of recessed, is what I'm saying. Well, funky music, that'll always keep us entertained. Where was that tree thing? I'm gonna get out of the car. This is too limiting. I just you know, I want to have a quick look at where we went up to this tree. Somewhere up here. There was some kind of stairs there somewhere. I think in between the houses there. Was it this maybe? I'll check that out, Christina. That's a good point. Maybe we can find more buttons and do more things. So we were higher up. That was not here. It was somewhere else. We were up somewhere that got us onto this bridge that got us to switch on this water thing here. So we were here. And I'm thinking this part here, that is something that may let the cart across, but not us. So we can't walk over this part here. And that basically gets us straight to the tree up here, or to some other interesting part. I'm trying to find a way to get back up there. Oh, that's how that was. Yes, I remember now. We went through our building. Indeed, that's where that was, Dion. I think so. I think that's where that was. Quickly walk up the stairs and over here. Yes, here, exactly. Oh, I wonder if this thing is what we need to move at one point. Yes, because we went up here. Lucky for us, we can't fall off the tracks, because that would be really terrible. Then we turned that on here, that water. We assume we turned it on, but we can't walk across this gap here. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's where Christina's other buttons come in play. Even though, how do we get our cart back up here? That's another interesting question. I guess we could lower it down the tracks so that it went from here, where it was hovering, to the downstairs tracks down here. But how we get that cart up onto these tracks, who knows? There's more here, look at that. With triangular, whatever, building materials on there. Very interesting. There's a crane near the tree? I didn't even see that. Oh, that crane. To lift us up here. Ah, possibly. Crane. But then to operate the crane, I guess we need to be on the other side, maybe, of this gap. This crane. Well, it's certainly mysterious down here in Hunrath. I want to go back to the card and check out some other buttons. The engine. Which engine do you mean? Oh, you mean the one that... There's an engine. Do you mean this thing here? I think that's just... hey, what is that? Yes, what is that? It looks like I can't do anything with it, so there's no action on there. That could be. And there's another one here. Yes, it makes me wonder, maybe we need to build that. Maybe we need to pull a cable, or maybe we need to have to shine a laser through this. Yeah, it looks like almost like we need to connect this with that somehow. But there's also no action on this. Doesn't look like a movable object to me either, but maybe we can find something like a cable that we can plug into that. Yeah, this is the power that we've switched on right now. Yeah. I can't quite remember. I think we had to switch this on, right? This had to be on in a way. Or maybe it doesn't actually make a difference right now because it's not connected to anything. Well, something to keep in mind for next time. I'm going to have a look at that card again and see what the other buttons do there. Or if the card in fact has any other buttons. That's an interesting idea to explore. I think what we also need is something like a GPS tracker to let us know where the car actually is. Because it's difficult to find. Like in Subnautica, where we have a little beacon that we know which direction we need to go into. So there appear to be two modes of operation, Christina. So one thing is if I go in, then I can use this lever to move the car and I can look around at the same time. And then as soon as I press this button here, then the car is no longer operational, but the buttons do other things now, namely let me in a zoomed in way look at where the laser is pointing. And then there's this button here that'll switch the laser on. So I suppose I can switch it off, then target where I want that thing to shine, like what Julia suggested. If we can target rocks from here, if we can find a position that lets me look at the rocks through this field here, and then I can just go press the button and then ice them. So there may be something in that we don't have to literally get close to the rocks. As long as we can point in that direction, maybe that'll do something to us. I'm gonna go try that. I'm gonna go and see if I can make my way over to those rocks that we wanted to blast initially, or in fact any rocks that we want to blast, and then we can see if that works. And then we can wrap it up after that. Because I guess there's so much more to explore. I'm so glad we happened across this car. That's very cool. Look at that. It's almost, they're very deliberate about making sure we can't really point this into a direction of our choice unless we solve another puzzle. That's very, very clever. That's what they thought about 5 years. And then they brought it to market. The game was done in 6 months, but then how do we make sure they never figure out how to move the car the right way around? That took most of the time. Yeah, like these here. Maybe there's a way if we go and point our cart somewhere into this direction, maybe we can at least reach those rocks. That would be cool. Let's try that. Exactly, Dreamlab. That's exactly what I'm thinking. And I think this rock over here, not this one, this one, has a pretty good chance of us reaching it. So if I go over here, then I go back, that should get us into here. then my massive gun at least points into the general direction of those rocks over here. So now, if I go and flick that lever, aim that thing at over here. Haha! Those rocks, right? Ooh! Did you see that chicken dinner raffle earlier? Crazy, huh? Let's zap this thing! Ah, need to aim it a little bit further down. Doesn't do anything. Those are still there. Hang on a minute, what are they? I'm gonna have a look. Oh, come on. The path is clear! The path is clear! Awesome! This now lets us go to Farley's house. Ha ha ha! I love it! Okay, so that means I have to flick this switch here. No, I can't. It was. It looked like a broken holographic device. Yeah, we came across one of those before. I think in that structure there. Flick that switch. Go over here. Quickly go back. Oh, non-stop to Miss Farley's house. Oh, hang on a minute. You have to watch the rerun, Rod. So we managed to target the rocks that were in here, but a very interesting way of thinking about it from Julia Vasluis, my esteemed producer over here. She was saying rather than get close to the rocks, perhaps you can just target them from afar. And that's exactly what we did, and it is not the rocks that we wanted to target, but at least it's some rocks. And you know, maybe that'll get us closer to the solution. Do we actually fit through here? Just about. That would be so mean, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be cool? I mean, there's something about this here. Look at that. It takes us straight to Miss Farley's house. Which by itself might not mean much, but if we now go back, do we go into this direction? Alright. Oh. Oh, come on! We didn't need that gun, no, but it'll be very much appreciated if you could send it over. Ah, this is the end of the bubble, isn't it? I'm just gonna park this somewhere out here so I can have a closer look there without the big gun being in my face here. See, I think this is something similar as what's happening up here. I wonder if we can try and target the outside bubble with our laser here. And let's see if we can get through here. The blue balls, right? That's the connection. This is actually a direct path to Subnautica. Oh my god. Exactly right. So if I'll go slightly closer here. Well, we better put on our diving suits then, aren't we? Oops. Oh, see if it works. Well, we can at least draw something like a letter on the outside of the sphere here. Yeah, like help, exactly. H. Then E. This is awkward. Let's not do that. That would be terrible, wouldn't it, Patrick? That would be really bad. I don't think I did any damage. But also it didn't get us any further in the game. Or did it? No. No, there's no in there. This is kind of the outside of the alien world here, so I don't think we can go in there. But it's essentially trying to do the same thing with the blue laser that this guy is trying to do with the red laser. There's just no getting out. That's right. Well, I think aside from this being a beautiful screenshot, I think we're done here for today. I think that's the only thing I can think of that we can do today. I don't think it has done that. It takes us before the YouTube thing gets superimposed. I think it should do. So yes, that's all I can think of that we can do today. So I think we're gonna wrap this session up. Thank you so much for joining me. It was wonderful as always. I will see you, I guess, next Friday. I'm preparing an animation that was really difficult for me to put together. It was a fluffy, hairy, dancing person, and I've made several iterations of that. They're all rendered in Carrara. And it looks stunning. I just need to put this together. I had a nightmare getting those services like Creative Cloud and OneDrive to synchronize with one another, because it's one of those things, you know, one computer sees this folder, another computer sees that folder, and somehow nothing gets combined. So some computers weren't syncing. Absolute nightmare. Anyway, I made it happen, and I will show you the results next time. I will see you then. Take care, my friends. Bye bye. Oh, Patrick said, sorry, yes, what does it, what? Do you know, yes, I had to start that again at frame 68, so there we go. Yes, it's, thank you for remembering, and thank you for also remembering that don't render 666 frames on 3 machines. I mean, that's kind of, you know, of course not gonna work. Have a good night, everyone, and I will see you next Friday. Take care, bye-bye. Just trying to find the credits here. Is it this one? I think it's this one.